Bum 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 bum. Donna Donna.
Welcome into Fantasy Football News. I'm Commissioner Mike Dixon, along with head coach Chris Dixon, who is our current Super Bowl champ. I'll just go ahead and hand this over to you. That now belongs to you after your amazing run to the playoffs, thanks to all of the trades you were able to pull off. Anything you want to tell the rest of the league?
You guys want this, don't you?
Well, 2020, right here around the corner, a couple of weeks away. Is there anything
I'll leave that right here
that you want to put out there for the rest of the league as far as what your strategy is, what you're thinking about doing?
No.
Okay, fair enough. Do you want to address all of the do not trade with me type comments you had after I helped you win that Super Bowl?
You still don't trade with Mike because I don't want anyone else to get helped by Mike to win the Super Bowl. Only I can trade with Mike because only I understand Mike.
Rude. Is there a specific spot you want to be picking in this year's draft?
No, I don't really care. Doesn't really matter. For
Fair
me,
enough.
if you're prepared, it doesn't really matter.
Fair enough. I personally hope I'm low, 9, 10, right around that turnaround. I'd like that.
Yeah, I don't want to be low, though. I definitely want to be higher up in the top couple picks.
All right, well, should we get to it? Pick number 10.
Pick number 10. All right, guys, here's the envelopes. All of them right in front of me. Shuffling them up. I don't know who is who. I know there's the conspiracy theorists out there like Jordan about the draft, so we're going to just go through these and pick one out here, and this is pick number 10. Do you have to seal them like this? Pick number 10.
Going to belong to Bill Waddell and the Tenachitlan Skull Crushers. All right, well, Bill's going to be drafting number 10. So any dreams that he had of drafting Patrick Mahomes in 2020 were just dashed right there. Patrick Mahomes should not go beyond the number 1 pick. So sorry, Bill, you don't get your boy there. But
his bandwagon boy.
Bandwagon, sorry.
Yeah.
He's not a real Chiefs fan.
He's not a Ram. This is a Chief here, but you know.
Yeah. Anyway, if you were at the turnaround, what would you be looking for right at that spot?
Oh, geez. I think by then, this year, it's such a tough year. I think by then, a lot of the running backs will be gone. I think we'll see more running backs in the first round than we've seen in a lot of years, just because of the differentiation between that very top tier and the next few guys. So I think he'll probably be looking at either a double wide receiver, depending on who's left. If a couple of the wide receivers go, then you're looking at running back, wide receiver. But I don't see any situation where you're going to be taking a quarterback there or be taking 2 running backs. I think there'll be too many running backs gone.
True. That could be very true. And and he might have really good wide receivers available right there at that double turnaround. So 2 elite guys because of the running back run that we might see.
Right, and you might also have a tight end there. I mean, if Kelsey somehow sneaks through that first round, you might have a Kelsey pick. You might have a Kittle pick. You know, those are things you could be looking at the turnaround at the bottom.
True. And for a fake Chiefs fan, Kelsey would be a great pick there.
Oh, yeah, right there.
All right, let's move on. Number 9
Number
in
9.
the 2020 Fantasy Football Champions League Draft will belong to looks like Joe Frederick's Rocky Mountain Prospectors. So Joe, that'll be an interesting spot for Joe. That's who you faced off with in the 2019 Super Bowl.
Yes.
And Joe is honestly, he's been 2 years ago, he made it to the conference championship. 3 years ago, he won the Super Bowl. So Joe has been either in Super Bowl or one step away from Super Bowl for quite a long time. Do you think this is beneficial that he'll be lower in the round in 2020?
I think he'll handle it. He's obviously the comeback story of the entire league right now. After his retirement, and then he comes back to the league, and he's just basically been picking up right where he left off, you know, trouncing the John Witts and the Jordans and the J-Mos and the Shawns. So I think Joe will be fine right down there at the 9 pick.
Well, all right. We'll have to see what tricky stuff that Joe does there. Of course, he has Lamar Jackson. He already has as a keeper, the best keeper on the board. This will for sure. He had not, at the time of filming this, declared his keeper yet. I didn't know if he was trying to hold out to see if he got the number 1 pick, to see if he wanted Mahomes. But now at the number 9 overall spot, you can cement Lamar Jackson in for Joe, and he's going to be able to focus on an elite running back or wide receiver.
Yeah, I would totally expect that. And Lamar Jackson, the only thing about him is that you don't have any good tandems to pair up with him, especially at that 9 pick. You're not looking at anybody who's on the Ravens to pair with him. So he's going to have to go away from the tandem strategy, and I know he loves that strategy as much as some of the other coaches.
It's true. Be interesting. Let's move on to number 8 in this year's fantasy football draft.
We have
Jordan Dewing's annexation of Puerto Rico will be drafting at number 8 overall. Now, Jordan has also been sneaky good over his entire tenure, really, in the league. People keep trying to dog him, but he's always either winning his division or coming in second.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what he does with a late pick in this. I feel like Jordan's usually higher up in the rounds. Like, there was a couple years that he was a top 3 pick, like a few years in a row. So it should be interesting to see what he does, but he's usually pretty well prepared for the draft, although he doesn't make many free agent pickups during the year as much as other coaches. So he's really going to have to make sure the draft works for him.
Absolutely, and that if there was any kind of constructive criticism of Jordan Dewing's approach in this league, it would be to probably hit that free agent wire a little bit better and make some pickups to have that depth down the length of the season.
Yeah, and I think with some of these coaches we have ahead of him, I don't know how many of these coaches are going to be running back people that are still left on the board. So he might end up with a top tier running back there at 7.
Very true.
Or at 8.
Let's move on to number 7 in this year's draft. At number 7, you're going to have Dave Venables' Midnight Rockers. Now, I don't know if you've seen Dave Venables' offseason at all.
Well, I mean, he has a new helmet here.
Well, he does, but have you seen his personal life?
Well, I know he's been doing a lot of riding on his motorcycle. I've seen that.
Right. He's turned into quite the Harley guy.
Yes.
Quite the biker. I wonder if we're going to be the change it up again later and become like the Midnight Bikers or something, or the Sturgis Ralliers or something a little bit crazy. He's gone biker dude on us.
But I think he'll still be prepared for the draft. He usually is a top-heavy person, so he'll be ready with the top part of the draft. But as the draft goes on and on and on, his picks get a little more risky. But sometimes that pays off with those huge keepers that he gets. More often than not, it doesn't really pay off.
I was going to say, the number 7 spot's actually not that bad for Dave Venables' strategy of picking young guys a little early. It's a good spot for coaches to try to reach the 7, 8, 9 zone when you start getting to rounds 4, 5, 6. That's a good area for guys if they want to reach for like a Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, Henry Ruggs. Some of these young rookies that are projected to have big years, Dave Venables, that might fit his strategy really well.
Yeah, and I think there's a few running backs too that you could reach for here that might be second round guys if you really, really like them. So,
well, all right, let's move on. Number 6.
And this is the golden pick, right? This has won more Super Bowls than any other pick, has it?
Historically speaking, yes. This is the pick that generally wins Super Bowls. So, well, for somebody that's never won a Super Bowl, number 6 will be Sean Glaze's G Unit. Will round out the bottom 5 of this year's draft crop. Now, do you think the number 6 golden ticket will serve Sean well?
I think it will. I think this is the absolute opportune spot for Sean. And I might not say that about other picks, but I think this is a great place because being in the middle of the round, you don't have to reach for anybody. You can kind of wait for guys to come back to you. You don't have to reach like on a double pick at the ends of the rounds. If there's a guy you really want, you can kind of see how the draft plays out. I think this is a great spot for Sean.
Okay, because usually, if you look at history, Sean has been drafting near either the 8, 9, 10 for the last 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's been stuck in the very bottom of the round drafting, and it hasn't served him well. This is much more right in the middle, adapt to what's happening, give him plenty of time between picks.
I mean, I think if this is ideal, if you're Coach Sean Glaze, you have to love hearing that you're the number 6 pick.
Although, Ezekiel Elliott probably will not be there at the number 6 pick,
I mean, I'm looking at the people ahead that haven't got picked yet in the top 5. I mean, JMO seems to be the only one that might go get Elliott of the people left.
That's actually true. And if Sean can pull off an Ezekiel Elliott at 6, that could be a really solid cornerstone to build his team around.
Yeah, but as we know, the first round doesn't define your draft, so he's going to have to keep that draft strategy solid all the way through.
Correct. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get back into the top 5 right after this.
I'm Chris Dixon, and I'm a fantasy football champion. I'm super tight pants Chris Dixon, and I went to the toilet bowl. With a solid draft and constant watching of the waiver wire, I keep my team in tip-top shape. I barely have enough room here for my love spuds. I can't feel my legs. Is that bad? A true champion knows there's always room for another trophy.
I took up yoga to keep my glutes and my hams in tip-top shape.
Don't be like this me.
Oh, I think I'm stuck.
Win your fantasy football league.
Welcome back to the 2020 Fantasy Football Draft Order Show. Now, rounding out the bottom 5, remember we had number 10, Bill Waddell, number 9, Joe Frederick, number 8, Jordan Dewing, number 7, Dave Venable, number 5, Sean Glaze. Of course, that leaves you still left.
Yeah.
In these top 5 picks, you are still in the Patrick Mahomes sweepstakes here as the defending Super Bowl champ. How are you feeling about having a 20% chance of getting Patrick Mahomes?
Well, as you know me, there's no guarantee that even if I get the first pick, I would pick Patrick Mahomes. So
He's lying.
I'm definitely not giving that one away.
He's lying. He's picking Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, you're still in the running too, as well as Coach J-Mo Black, Coach John Witt, and who do we have left there?
Jake.
Yep, and Jake. Yep, that's who we have left. A lot of veterans there. That's a
lot
veteran
of
group.
veterans.
5 originals.
Somebody's gonna get 5 of the classics. So somebody's gonna end up getting Patrick Mahomes in that top 5.
Yes, indeed.
So let's roll. Let's see who is drafting 5th overall. Looks to be my Titletown Trophy Hogs at number 5 overall. So that's generally, I don't mind a middle round pick, but I'm definitely going to be trying to see if like a Bill Waddell or a Joe Frederick would like to switch and trade that number 9 or 10 to come into the middle of the round.
So you'd be more comfortable with a lower pick this year?
Oh, absolutely. That was my ideal. I was hoping for like a 9 or a 10 overall. I want the wraparound, but I didn't want the top end of the draft. I either wanted 9 or 10 or I wanted number 1 to get Patrick Mahomes. Now, there's advantages to being in the middle. Obviously, as we talked about with Sean Glaze, you get to adapt. You get to kind of get a good feel for when runs are starting to happen, and you can get to be a part of those runs versus if you miss a run on an end, you're screwed. So
yeah, you're in a lot better position to make trades later in the year, having positional flexibility. Yeah.
That's
To the Super Bowl champions.
correct. Well, shall we move on to number 4?
We'll move on to number 4.
Who is going to be number 4?
Clearly, Coach Mike Dixon does not want to talk about that much. Number 4 pick.
Number 4 will be Jake Tyson's strike team. Jake has he's either been a boom or kind of a bust team for the duration of his stay in this league since the beginning, right? He's either down there in the toilet bowl conversation or he's in the Super Bowl.
And that's how his draft strategy has really been, since he's started in this league. He's, like you said, last in the division or he's right there competing for a Super Bowl.
True. And so it'll be interesting to see where Jake's going to want to try to lean at the number 4 pick, knowing that's really, forced that zone where it's like, unless you have somebody incredibly stupid making a pick or making an incredibly stupid pick, the top 3 guys are off the board, and that's kind of an awkward spot to be in, where you're like, okay, well, now I'm just best of the rest, and which one am I going to pick now that the obvious 3 are off the board?
Well, I don't know that that's such an obvious 3. I think it maybe goes down to 4. you can include Michael Thomas in the obvious 3, and he might make it out to that 4. Because I mean, Michael Thomas is that top wide receiver that everybody wants, but there are other people that you might look for at that 4th pick as well.
That's true. I mean, because you'd assume kind of the top 3 guys, or maybe 4 if you're looking at it that way. You're looking at Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, probably Michael Thomas. That's probably your top 4 rounding out in 2020. So I don't know if Jake is hoping for one of, a running back or not, if he'd be comfortable running with like a Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I mean, at the 4 pick, you're in that position where you kind of just take what falls to you for what the other people don't take. So
Right. Well, it'll be interesting to see what Jake does this year. So number 3, overall, we have John Witt, Chris Dixon, and Jameson Black still left out there. Drafting 3rd overall will be your Kool-Aid defending Super Bowl champion Kool-Aid Crushers, Chris Dixon, at the number 3 spot in the 2020 draft. How do you feel about that?
I would have liked one of the top 2, but I'm okay with number 3 as well. I might be looking to make a trade here. Like I said, I'd rather be in the top half, but I don't know why, but I'm not comfortable with 3. I don't really like it.
You don't really like the whole somebody's taking Mahomes, then somebody else takes McCaffrey, and you're stuck with, do I take Thomas or Barkley?
I don't like having my picks made for me like that. I'd rather have a little bit of options on what I have to do. I think the 2 pick is a great place to sit this year. And then other than that, you want to be in the bottom half, like 5 and beyond, because those picks are not as made for you. You have a little bit more leeway to make your picks.
Okay. Are you feeling good about your chances to repeat?
Well, yeah, of course. What kind of question is
If
that?
it wasn't for my trades to you last year, you wouldn't even be sitting in this spot right now.
I'd have been fine. I think I'd been fine.
All right, number 2. Let's determine both the top 2 picks right here. So drafting 2nd and then drafting Patrick Mahomes are the last 2 spots here. So let's see who is going to be number 2.
Well, you're making a lot of assumptions about Patty there.
Drafting 2nd in 2020 will be Jameson Black's Gridiron Terminators. So this will be the highest Jameson Black has drafted in Champions League in a long, long time.
I think so, yeah, in recent memory that I can remember. It just feels like he hasn't had like a top pick in a while.
And I can guarantee he's going to be choosing between Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, he won't be passing. I mean, unless Mahomes drops to him, he might think about it. But I still think even if Mahomes drops to him, he would probably go running back route.
Well, I mean, Jameson has always been really big on drafting a running back early in a draft. So even no matter if that's late in the first, middle first, high first, he's always kind of been a running back guy. It's kind of old school that way.
Yeah, but he hasn't had a ton of success as of late. So, I mean, he's had a couple decent years, but he's always the bridesmaid, never the bride, it feels like.
That's true. That is true. And of course, drafting first, and the winner of the Patrick Mahomes sweepstakes, if he so chooses, is going to be Dr. John Witt with Harambe's Revenge. Do you think he's going to go any other direction besides Pat Mahomes?
I don't see it. I think he's going to pull up all of his lists. He's going to go to ESPN.com. He's going to go to NFL.com and just sort by overall players. And he's going to see Patrick Mahomes is on the top, and he's just going to take him.
Well, and John Witt, if you look historically, he's always been wide receiver heavy in this league, in Champions League. And honestly, in all the mock drafts thus far, the number 1 overall pick, getting Patrick Mahomes, in most of these mock drafts, Tyreek Hill is still available on the round 2-3 turnaround.
Yeah, and you could see Tyreek Hill, and then you could see another wide receiver. I don't see Travis Kelce being there at that pick, or George Kittle's probably not there at that pick. So double wide receiver is going to be very enticing on that 2-3 turnaround.
Absolutely. Go Patrick Mahomes, hope Tyreek Hill falls back to him, and then pick up another, maybe a Juju Smith-Schuster, somebody of that class, Mike Evans, somebody of that type on the double turnaround.
Yep.
Coming back. So, all right. So let's go ahead and look at divisions now. Let's go ahead and put the NFC up on the screen, which this year is going to consist of Bill Waddell, Jordan Dewing, Sean Glaze, Jake Tyson, and Jamison Black. How would you handicap this NFC division?
Boy, you know what I think? There's a whole lot of inconsistency in the coaching in that division. Almost all of those coaches either have a really good year or a really bad year, so there's absolutely no telling what's going to happen this year.
Yeah, that's wow. That's I would be licking my chops if I had those other four. If I was one of those five and the other four were there, because you're right. That's very boom or bust, that entire division. One of them's going to represent the Super Bowl.
That's right. One of those will be a Super Bowl favorite, and outside of Jake, I don't know that any of them have made a Super Bowl in a while, right?
Well, J-Mo made a Super Bowl not long ago. Sean's never made a Super Bowl. Jordan made a couple Super Bowls.
I mean, it just feels like it's been a while for any of these teams.
It has been, and for Coach Bill Waddell, he hasn't made a Super Bowl since Jameson traded him Tom Brady.
Yeah,
that one,
right.
The infamous year.
The year.
So that'll be an interesting thing to watch. Let's look at the AFC now. Let's put that up on the screen. You're going to see it has Joe Frederick, who has Lamar Jackson as his keeper. You have Dave Venable. You're going to have Mike Dixon, defending champion Chris Dixon, and you're going to have John Witt with most likely Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be the tough division. At least it looks that way coming out of the draft.
I mean, that's going to be a snot knocker of a division right there. Who do you think? I could see any of these teams really succeeding, but which one team is going to make the toilet bowl? Which one team would you have to handicap as the toilet bowl representee before the draft?
If I had to, it would be John Witt, but he's got Patrick Mahomes, and that right there is enough to say that you're going to be competitive for a playoff spot. I think the difference between the division winner here and the toilet bowl might be 3 wins total. I mean, this is going to be as close as a division can get.
Absolutely. That's going to be a really tough division. I think it's safe to say, even pre-draft, whoever represents the AFC is probably going to be favored over the NFC representative.
Yeah, and we'll see when Vegas comes out with the odds here, but I'm sure it'll be pretty weighted towards this division.
I'm sure it will be. Well, any last-second barbs, anything you want to throw out there to your colleagues for 2020?
No, other than don't trade with Mike, of course. That's the edict that goes into this league. And everyone, just stay safe this year because that's most important.
Okay, well, other than that, we're going to see y'all on Draft Day, which is going to be Labor Day this year. So, until then, we'll see you on Labor Day.